Today we're going to be looking at the short side quickie as well as the open side quickie and when the best time in your game is to use one or the other. Both of them have their merits, but let's talk about this in this video. So we're starting with a short side quickie. Short side quickie is actually probably the most commonly used move in touch. It only involves two people. Let's get the pen. It only involves two people, two middles. It can be done in middle link, of course, but today we're going to focus on middle. But because there's two people, one pass and one dive, your chances of losing the ball are very low. But the chances of scoring a try are always there. So there's a low risk for a big outcome, I guess. So short side quickie means the person dumping the ball is going to split and receive the ball quickly on the short side, attacking this offside player. Okay, so he has two options. We either run straight at him and then crack short, or we go open side. Of course, open side is a 4-on-3, which is probably harder than a 3-on-2. Well, it is. So defender will usually, that's why we pull short side as a defender, to give them 4-on-3, 3 defenders rather than 2 defenders. Okay, so he gets the ball back quickly, and it's very important to get that ball quickly because we don't want to actually have a massive gap between us and the defender. If they get too far back, that all of a sudden they're onside, and while we're moving towards them, they're coming back at us as well. So it's very hard to beat an onside player, but if we can get the ball relatively quickly and beat them while they're still retreating, very easy. So a good way to sort of practice this is when you split at an angle like this rather than simply sideways, because then you'll have to go sideways, straighten up again. Split it at an angle, and the dummy half pick up the ball, take 2 steps, just so that ball's not forward. And your team momentum is now just heading towards the try line and keeping that distance between the two middles at a minimum. So enough of that. We get the ball, he's still retreating, and there's a bit of a gap in the middle. If you feel like you can get into that gap, do it. We dive between the middles. So the first couple of clips we've got our sort of perfect scenarios of quickies. Again, it's going to be the same side. The distance is fairly big. However, he's still offside, and this middle doesn't react probably as good as he would have liked to watching this video. And he steps, and there it is there. Okay. Exactly the same as the first clip. With this one, we have a high middle. Okay, she's passed the ball off. This middle stayed back. This middle who's up is going to be making that touch. Again, we still split short side. Like this. Defensively, she's probably done a spin that she wishes she didn't. That's a good, this is a good example of splitting at that diagonal. As you can see, she's not splitting sideways because she ended up here. She's splitting diagonal to keep her momentum going forward, and the dummy half, reactively, is moving forward as well when she picks up the ball, just making it not a forward pass. Okay, so she doesn't have to go this way, stop, and then straighten. It's just diagonal. And Pythagoras' theorem that I learned in year 10 would tell me that that's the quicker route. Mr. Davies said I'd never use I told Mr. Davies that I'd never use Pythagoras' theorem in my life, and here I am using Pythagoras' theorem in a touch video. Anyway, that's why we go diagonal. Can't believe I said that. Anyway, open side quickie. We look at the defense. Let's just go back to the second clip. Now let's imagine we've just run this quickie, but this defender is now standing here. Okay? That's just what's happened in our game. They've tightened up those middles, and all of a sudden, we dive like that, and we just dive into the saving middle. So it can't happen anymore. This is when the open side quickie. So I'd never start with an open side quickie, unless, of course, you've done some research or some homework on the team that you're versing, and you know for a fact that their policy is really tight middles. So I know when I verse the Brisbane Cobras or Queensland Sharks, they love to have really tight middles. They tighten up and they don't let anything through the guts. And this is when we can start to look at incorporating a reverse quickie. So as you can see, both middles there, they don't need to be up that high, like that's too high. But let's just say that that's the tightness that they're going to be. Now this middle is going to just pull back straight because she knows that the touch is probably going to go to the corner, and she wants to make sure that that gap between the two middles is not getting scored on. Okay, so short side quickie would split this way and attack the toucher. However, she split open side this time. And now you can see her momentum has already started running. She's already got into her run while this player is still backpedaling. And now if you can get a nice pass that continues your run, you don't have to slow down, turn, or anything like that to catch the ball. It's a foot race now. Okay, she's just turned and react, and it's a foot race. Okay, and the good thing that the ball carrier has got, they've already got the momentum of the run. Okay, they're already in third gear. This player's just hit first because she's just reacted then. So it's a foot race. You catch them off balance, you catch them too tight, and you get around them. And that was a try. Okay, that's a reverse quickie or an open side quickie. It's basically just splitting the other way. This camera doesn't really do us help as far as drawing and telestrating on this video, but let's have a watch. What I can say is that is the far side to the camera, so he will pull that way. So that is his short side. So the splitter will split open side because the saving middle is extremely tight. He'll catch him too tight and he'll beat him as a foot race to the line. He's just turned and he's got him on the outside. Okay, what also happens with a reverse quickie, let's just say this saving middle reacts really well. They don't necessarily overread it, but let's just say as soon as it happens, they react accordingly. Okay, and he's already on the move and he's eyed him up. Okay, he's managed to cover him, he's pushing everyone else out. Sweet. But what happened to that toucher who made the touch here? It's programmed into him that he's going to pull corner. So all of a sudden, you've got the toucher moving one way and the saving middle moving the other way. And all their momentum is just completely sprinting towards that open side, which leaves an extremely vulnerable gap in the middle that if you've got a nice step, it's very hard to compete when you turn and sprint across that line. This player here has pulled corner, so you've just parted the Red Sea in the middle. Okay, and the other option, of course, on that is if you don't have a good step, you can get to here and the hole's opening up for the inside ball. So you keep your run, they chase, this gap's still wide, and it becomes an open side quickie into like a little ninja. Ninja's basically just an inside ball for the dummy half to score. Well, he's not the dummy half anymore, but he was once upon a time. And that is a reverse quickie. Here's another one in the women's game. Again, backpedaling. All right, she probably wishes she was just on the line, but the girls did a good job. Actually, it's probably a good time to point this out. Now, we get to this point here. Now, a lot of times what I see in juniors, and some seniors actually, is if this middle comes up and you want to get this middle, they pass the ball. And sometimes they pass the ball and it's too wide, and it becomes like this player here might read the pass and just get up and jam it before they can run a play. So what the Scorps have done here, team with the ball, is instead of passing it to other middle, she's just gone, all right, well, if you want to chase me, you chase me over to this side and run in front of your other middle. You chase me all the way over here. She's not going to do that. Okay? And for a video on another day, I'll explain what happens if someone does chase all the way over across the face of their other middle, how to easily beat it, but not enough time in this video. And then she angles in, and there's the reverse quickie. Okay, you can see the number 12, her body shape is towards the corner. This player here is staying tight because she doesn't want anyone to score in between there. And she'll get the ball and basically try and gas her. And let's see if... No, she's recovered quite well, but there's a big gap here that she's just going to dive through. Okay, that's probably a 7 meter gap. That's probably the same distance between try line and 7 meter line. Maybe 6 meters, but it's still plenty distance there. Nearly get to the line, but we'll pretend that she did. Sneaky. But yeah, that's a reverse quickie. So here's another one. So the link's got the ball and he throws a cutout. This middle's up here, and this middle's end up making the touch. Number 11 here is going back to be nice and tight. That's his body shape is towards the short side to cover this gap. The dumper here is going to split open side and gas him for speed. There's the open side. Number 11 is just starting to turn around, and number 4's momentum has already started. So he's got himself a massive head start on this run. And he just passes the ball. Okay? Because this guy had to come in because his inside defender couldn't turn and chase. So it just opened up a link line for him. Open side quickie. Again, we've got another open side quickie here. Okay, so we had the two middles actually coming up together. There's nothing wrong with that, but it seems like a big gap, but he's actually a long way towards the line, and he's facing in. His eyes are facing in. He probably needed to be where the referee is and moving forward, parallel to the lines. Anyway, he's facing in, he's backpedaling, and again, by the time he turns around, they've already got the ball on the run. And his defense ended up coming in because they probably hesitated the fact that he could chase that. So that was just another open side quickie, and it's very good examples of open side quickie. But again, they've both got a time and a place. I would never start with an open side quickie. All right, always start with the short side quickie, because if the middles are relatively tight, you still can score, and it basically ensures that if you don't score, they're going to be tight next time. Okay, but yeah, short side and open side quickie. That is all I have to say. If you have anything else that you'd like to add to this video, add it in the comments. People are reading the comments, so get your coach's hat on. Let us know something that I don't know. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.